Hi, this is segment 2 of Taking Care of Yourself at Home with Spinal Wellness Center here. And this is probably one of the most, if not the most important part, is learning how to sit properly. And the great news, like with all of these, what's good for you turns out to feel good and energizes you, so you'll be able to check the validity of this stuff out right away. Sitting messes people's spines up more than any other thing. Basically, in cultures where people sit in chairs, they have spinal problems far more than the people sitting cross-legged or squatting or kneeling on the floor. And ironically enough, chairs over the last 100 years started sloping the wrong way and messing people up even more. So anyhow, when you sit, you want to sit with your hips higher than your knees. It makes really no difference to me what else you've heard. We can show you the validity of this. When your spine is healthy or on its way to becoming healthy by getting corrected here, you want your hips to be higher than your knees. And this is a little miniature diagram, but it's a really excellent one. Let me know, Marcel, when this is right. When your hips are higher than your knees, your spinal curves are maintained. And when your hips are lower than your knees, your spinal curve reverses or flattens out. Many people whose spines are messed up like to sit this way, but it's not a good thing to do, and people whose spines are healthy do not want to do that usually. So I'm going to have Sophie come on over here, and I want you to stand right in front of this chair, right? And take a breath in and out your nose. And Sophie's was adjusted a little while ago, so she should be feeling pretty good. Notice how well you can breathe. Now sit down in that chair. And now breathe in and out.
Yeah, I can't breathe as deep.
So it's less easy to do. That chair slopes the wrong way. It's also just barely too low for her. So if you stand up, you put this wedge on, elevates your thumb, slopes the right way. If you sit down on that, let your body go. Almost as good as when you stood, right?
Almost as good,
Right.
yeah.
And this is pretty much right for her. Now this is one important point here. Take the time to elevate your chair up. Furniture dimensions have not changed in hundreds of years, and they were set up when people were like 5'6" as adults, you know. So if you're higher than 5'6", certainly if you're 6 foot or above, your standard furniture is way too low for you. Now an office chair will typically go up high enough for someone who's 6 foot, a little bit higher. But the simplest way to elevate yourself, change your chair height, get a stack of towels, plop it down that way, and then your hips are really higher than your knees, and that tends to feel great. You look at it, when people are sitting for long periods of time, like draftsmen, architects, they had architects' tables, and they're super, super high, because they knew this was a better way to sit for them, right? So we can actually leave it that way. So that's the front to back part, hips higher than your knees. When your spine reaches even just a modicum of health, this is going to feel good, and it's going to help your process unwinding. The side to side part is this. All of us have spines that lean one way more than the other. It doesn't really matter when you're all fixed up, it won't matter that much, but until your spine is corrected, it makes a big difference, and it will help your process immensely, and it will cost you nothing, right? So Sophie is a left breakdown, right? So if we, typically it's around 3 thicknesses of towel for the average person. You can tell I'm not going to get a job at the local motel anytime soon, folding towels. So if I elevate you on the left side, plop down. Imagine sitting like that all day. This is what you should do. Is imagine sitting, close your eyes, imagine sitting like that all day. If I take it away, plop down.
Definitely notice this.
You miss it. You kind of miss it. And this is something in my opinion, every human should know what side they are. It'll be easy to determine by the age of 5 or 6, certainly by the age of 8. Elevating your side with a newspaper, a magazine, a little book, folded towel will help you immensely. You won't be collapsing as much, use less energy. less pulling on your spine, every great thing. In terms of ABC, if you're elevating yourself on that side, you're going to unwind better and feel better. How will I know? Gee, I can't remember what the doctor told me. What side should I have to wait till Monday morning and call the office and see what side I should sit on. Not, right? If you pick the wrong side for you, if you plop down on that, she's falling out of the chair, right? So that won't be it. I'm going to show you this wonderful diagram that I found in an advertisement years ago. So Sophie is this way. Pardon the reverse print there. Schematically speaking, this is not an x-ray of Sophie obviously, the sum total distortion in her spine is causing her to collapse to the left, right? If we elevate her on the right side, she feels like she's falling out of the chair. If you elevate her on the left side, this is looking at it from the back obviously, left side, hey, I feel better, I'm straighter. And again, this spine is free to unwind and this one isn't, okay? So to recap, simple thing, sit with your hips higher than your knees. If you're above 5'6", 5'8", you're going to want to elevate the standard chair. Number two, you want to elevate yourself on your breakdown side, which you learned in the office. You can test yourself out with folded towels, the simplest thing, or you know, newspaper, magazines, whatever you have on hand. There's no reason, if you're in a stadium, to not figure out a way to do this for yourself. For our advanced students, we'll teach you something else, okay? We'll just get rid of this thing, very simple. If you're using a wedge like you recommend, which will save you lots of time and money, if you just turn this a little bit, in this way it'll be higher on the left than on the right. So if you check that out, right? And you get to dial the amount of correction you have in there, right? So whatever you want to do, if it might just a little bit. If you're really hurting and going through a tough time, you might have it sitting like that as much, right? Again, it'll not be something you'll have to write down. You can just test it out. If you do it this way, if you sit down on that, if you would, Sophie. Boom, ain't going to work, right? If I turn it this way for her, even that amount, it's wild, okay? Thanks for trying this out. It'll be worthwhile for you. Thank you.